Oh, we're live on HOGGOUT, and it's the end of the T20 World Cup tonight. It's South Africa taking on India. South Africa having a good win against Afghanistan, and India beating England. And India obviously had the easier game. It's always good to beat England, isn't it? But let's find out what we've got to talk about tonight, or for tonight's game, live on HOGGOUT after the break. And remember, we've got some special guests as well. Roll it, AK. Now, I'm going to try and stop clicking my fingers like that. It feels like you're bowling a bit of a flipper. That's the way you bowl the flipper. Just click it out the fingers. But we've got the T20 World Cup 2024 final tonight, and there's plenty to talk about. We've got some guests coming on to ask me some questions, and it's India taking on South Africa. And I'm really looking forward to this. It's crunch time. Both teams have got a little bit of history in finals. Both teams, or India, have had a little bit more success, but both teams have had a few wobbles over the years as well. Does that play a big part tonight? No, it doesn't, because it's new teams. It's a new day, and there's new preparation, and there's a lot more experience in both lineups. And I'm liking both lineups, what I see. Now, our first talking point tonight is, I think, okay, make sure we get the slides up. It's spin. Yes, both teams have got quality spin. South Africa got Maharaj there. They've got Shamsi, two frontline spinners, and then they can use Markram whenever needed if there's a left-handed batsman out the crease and there's a little bit of turn. He's pretty handy with those right arm spinners. But he's both of the, or three of these bowlers are going to be up against some classy batsmen who are very good against spin. And Sky and Pant are the two that probably are going to be the biggest threat to the spin options of South Africa. I'm liking what I'm seeing with Rohit Sharma too, actually, against spin. He's going to that sweep shot a lot more, and he's playing it well. And the way that he played against England the other night, he's in fine form. So South African spinners might be a little bit nervous. We're going to flip it over to the Indian spinners as well. So the Indian spinners, they're basically a little bit more predictable or similar in what they deliver. You've got Patel and Jadeja doing a similar thing. Patel's bowling a lot better than Jadeja at the moment. The only difference between those two is the height. But the good thing coming up against South Africa, when they're bowling predominantly, they should be bowling to most of the right-handers in the middle order. The only threats that the two off-spinners have got is De Kock, and hopefully he goes early. If he goes early, then all of a sudden the two off-spinners can control the game and get a bit more. But then they've got Miller in those middle overs. But the ball might hold up and trouble Miller. But there are two left-arm leg spinners in this game. It doesn't happen too often. We've got Kuldeep Yadav and Shamsi. Now, these two bowlers are going to be crucial. They are very similar in what they've got to offer, but Kuldeep Yadav has got a better economy at the moment than Shamsi, but both of them are picking up wickets, and whoever bowls the better out of these two will be the deciding factor in tonight's game. Because when we look at the pace attacks of both lineups, they're very similar. We'll look at the South African pace attack, what we've got lined up for them tonight. We've got Rabada, we've got Nortje, and we've got Jansen. And I like Jansen, the tall left-armer who swings the ball. And then you've got the pace of Rabada and Nortje. There are three quality seamers of South Africa here who can really step up the pace and get that extra bounce and trouble the Indian batsman. Whereas when we look at the Indian bowling attack, they're relying heavily on Arshdeep Singh and Jasprit Bumrah. Jasprit Bumrah has had a wonderful tournament. Arshdeep Singh's been picking up crucial wickets at crucial times, especially with that new ball. but they don't have that third option. They go to Hardik Pandya, who South Africa will target tonight. Jasprit Bumrah, he's been awesome. Can he do it again tonight on the big stage? It's crucial that South Africa try and get on top of Jasprit Bumrah. Then all of a sudden, like against England, trying to attack him, if you can pressure him, get runs off his 4 overs, get him to go for about 30. All of a sudden, the pressure's on the likes of Kuldeep, having to go harder out wickets and the other bowlers to try and contain. So that's a huge match up there. Is there any other talking points before we get into the special guest, please? Okay. Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about India versus England. England were just atrocious against spin. They were caught on the crease. Too many LBWs there. Weren't picking up the line, the length, and the variety that the Indian spinners had. And this will be crucial for India coming into this final tonight. The form that the spinners have got, but also the form that Rohit Sharma is starting to build for himself. Sky got some runs as well. Hardik Pandya is finding form. So the depth of India after that England game, being able to score 171 and bowl a quality team out like England for 103, they are full of confidence coming up against South Africa. And you've got to remember that India have scored around 200 twice in the tournament. South Africa have only scored, I think, around about 160, 170 once. So, and South Africa have had a lot more closer games, whereas India have been winning games comfortably out the back end. South Africa won easily against Afghanistan, but all those other games in the Caribbean and in New York, they'll put under pressure. But anyway, let's get to the talking, the guys, because I'd rather get asked questions and talk to the special guests. Just waffle on myself. And we've got Sadwan, who's in Adelaide, and he's got an Adelaide Strikers on. Mate, you've got to get one of these. First scorchers. That's the BBL stuff. And we've got Gurpreet all the way from Punjab. Gurpreet, how are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Now, I was talking to Sadwan before we got on because you were having trouble with your technology, but he was telling me how bad a bowler you are. In a match, you had 1 run to defend in 6 balls. Was that right, Sadwan?
Yeah, he was all right actually. Yeah. he used to bowl all right. Yeah.
So he defended 1 run in 6 balls, and the team was only 5 down.
Yeah, that was in the finals, and team was 5 down, and they had only 1 run to win, and yeah, he defended that. So
he defended that. Is he good? Should he be pursue cricket a little bit heavier than what he did? Do you reckon he could have played first class cricket?
Yeah, he was, because when he used to play against me, so and then I used to hit him over the park all the time, and that didn't help him,
Gurpreet, did he always hit you out of the park?
Yeah, but he took a lot of time to take on me, but most of the time I dominated.
What's your specialty with the ball? Did you get the ball to swing or try and seam?
My strength is my length. Back in the days, actually, the length was very important. You stick on one length, you can do better at that times. Yeah. So my strength was my length. So,
but these days you need to be, you need variations like slow ones, and then you have 2 wide ones. Yeah, old days you can have just 1 line and length, but these days you need to have variety in your bowling.
So Gurpreet was a bit like a Glenn McGrath then.
Yeah.
1% of it.
Yep.
0.5%.
Someone, before we get into the questions as well, because we've got 2 left arm leg spinners, or left arm Chinamans, I like to call them, tonight. You've got a son that's 8 years old that bowls the left arm leggies, don't you?
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, he loves Kuldeep, and yeah, we go every Sunday mornings to nets, and he enjoy playing cricket and he want to be leg spinner.
Right. Has he got a wrong in yet? or is he just bowling leg spin?
Too early for him to for wrong. I think he need to learn the basics first.
Yep. Well, that's one little lesson out there. Anyone who's a budding leg spinner, whether you're left arm leg spin or right arm leg spin, just concentrate on the leg spin at a young age. The variety comes, but if you can learn to contain the batsman and work the batsman over and create wicket-taking opportunities with your leg spinner, then all of a sudden when the variations come in, they become more potent and you become a better rounded bowler or leg spinner. So that's my little bit of advice tonight. I'm just going to go and get a question from Anupam here. Can we see England moving ahead of some of the senior players like Moeen Ali, Johnny Bairstow, etc. after this tournament? Anupam, yes, I think they've got to move on with youngsters. The other youngsters that are in this lineup are absolutely dominating and setting the world alight. The likes of Moeen Ali, Johnny Bairstow were caught on the crease against spin. Harry Brooks showed them how to play it, and I think they could have had a few other options in that lineup, especially down there in the West Indies, to counteract the spin. And I just can't believe that they weren't playing Ben Duckett down there in the Caribbean. He's a smaller player, little stubby player that can sweep both conventionally and the reverse sweep. Good question or good point there, Anupam. Right, you two are mates. Sadwan and Gurpreet, who's going to crack open the ledger with their first question?
Oh, I think I'll go first. Gurpreet, yeah?
Yeah. Well, you've won the toss and you're batting.
Yeah, I'm batting first.
Yep, right, yeah.
So it's a big final. I just want to know, in the final, there's a bit about the pressure. Is it any different than the semi-finals or the any other games? Like, is it different than...
I think definitely there's a lot more pressure there because all of a sudden you're out the end stage, and the trophies or the big winning the whole tournament with that big trophy is the hook out the back end. So there is a little bit of pressure. But one thing that I like about the South African coach, there was a comment about the history, how they faltered out the back end. And he's come out, that's the history of South Africa, but other players own that history. We are a new team. We're new individuals. We're individual players right now. We're in this moment. So when you're in these final situations, you've got to make sure you stay in the moment. Don't get too far ahead of yourselves. Rahul Dravid said a similar comment as well. You can think about the past, but you can comment on the past, but the past is history. It's about what's happening today. And I think this is where it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're trying to achieve something in life, it's about the mental preparation. If you know how to do it, you know what to do, so you've got the skills. All it is about having that confidence, and it all comes to the mind. And so a lot of these players will be sitting there the night before the game, or even the morning of the game, everyone's different, and sitting there visualising themselves doing well out the middle, but also probably visualising themselves if something's gone slightly swift, or astray, where it's not going right, they'll sit there and go, right, how can I turn that around in that split second? Because you've got to prepare for those tough situations, but you've also got to see yourself doing well. So it's about those preparations of seeing yourself succeed under all those different conditions. So tonight, I think both teams are going to be better prepared, and it's going to be a close game. It's going to be an absolute ripper. South Africa's lineup's probably the best lineup in the competition. I like the way that they've set up with 5 frontline bowlers and 6 frontline batters. India have gone in with probably 3 more all-rounders, so they've got a bit more batting depth. I prefer to rely on your top 6 and have 5 frontline bowlers. So I think this is the biggest opportunity for South Africa to win, and I think they're better mentally prepared. Yeah, there is nerves. The only way I can describe it to those people that haven't played at a high level. If you're studying, people that are studying, or you're going for a first job interview or any job interview, you're sitting in there, you're nervous and you're sweating and you're panicking. Um, okay, there's not much difference to feeling what you're doing there to going out in the middle. The only thing with a cricket game, is that you can turn things around very quickly if you're mentally switched on. Good question. I like that. I'm actually getting a buzz now, feeling what it was like playing in a final. Gurpreet, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is: has India the more advantage in final as they recently played in the finals, like managing the pressure, like South Africa as first time in the final? So, which team advantage
I
going
think
forward?
that's an excellent question. Both teams have got a bit of advantage here. India have got the advantage with experience of playing in finals, and playing in them recently. They're coming off a loss against Australia just recently. I'm not bringing that up just to push buttons or anything like that, but that's sometimes a better result going into another final, just with such a short turnaround within a year and a half. So they'll be better prepared in that sense. But South Africa have got nothing to lose. And this is probably where the underdog has probably got a bit better advantage in that they've got over the semi-final. They're into their first final in a World Cup. Everyone thinks that they're going to falter. Well, if they lose, people are just going to say, "Well, we told you so." If they win, they've surprised everyone. So the pressure's on India because they've got more experience, and everyone probably thinking that South Africa will falter, and I don't think South Africa are going to falter. So India have got to be on their game. I don't think experience plays a big part in a final tonight. So it's a good question, but a very good question. I'm going to go to Aknil here. That's jumped up. India has an advantage in their batting and bowling, but South Africa has suffered in the batting with the likes of Hendricks and Aiden Markram. Now, Akhil, I like what you're saying there. The only advantage that India have with the ball is Boomer. Boomer is going out an economy rate of 4.7, and Kuldeep is got a very good economy as well. But the spinners of South Africa are making a bit of a dent, although they're not as good as the Indian bowlers. But the pace attack of South Africa is a little bit more rounded. Hendricks and Aiden Markram, don't write them off, because under those big scenarios, especially Aiden Markram, I think that they can make a big impact in the final tonight. And I'm expecting Aiden Markram, actually, he's one player I'm expecting to stand up tonight. I think he really thrives on the pressure. He's a good leader, and he'll lead from the front under pressure. Akhil, that's a very good point, but I love it. Okay. Sandwant, your question, please.
So, what do you think? India move Kohli to number 3 and drop Dubey and bring Jaiswal in the opening slot, or is too late now because the final?
Oh, I'd like to make a little bit of a change there. I think it's too late in the final. If they were going to do that, I think they would have had to do that a lot earlier. But with Shamsi and Maharaj in the team, I think Dubey can make a huge impact tonight. Shamsi's not really a big turner with the leg spinner. And I think that will favour Dubey's selection tonight. And there shouldn't be too much extra bounce there over in Barbados. And I think Dubey could have a big impact against spin tonight. I think the only issue with having Dubai in the team is when you've got Pant and Sky, if they're going really well, then all of a sudden you've got to have Dubai coming out the back end, and against the extra pace of South Africa, that's where the problem lies. So are they going to bring Dubai in if both spinners are operating in front of Sky in those middle overs? That's the question that you'd ask in the selection panel. If they're not, I would actually think about bringing Sanju Samson in and batting him lower down the order than bringing the left-handed Jaswal in. But I like your thought. It's too late to make that change. Gurpreet, you got another question?
Yeah, sir. So I want to ask, which will be the dominant side in the final, like batting or bowling unit?
I've got a funny feeling in Barbados, batting's going to dominate early on. I think the bowling will have a little bit of dominance through those middle overs, and I think the death overs are going to be crucial as well. The only thing with the South African team, when you've got someone like Norkie, his slower balls aren't as deceptive as a Boomerang. So having Norkie bowling in the death overs could be a bit of a problem for South Africa if you've got Hardik Pandya and Sky or Pant out the crease. So that will be a crucial matchup out the back end. But I think spin in the middle overs is going to hold up the batting, the aggression of batting. And I think the death overs is going to be important. I think Boomerang is the key for the death of India, and I think he's the best death bowler, and that's a huge advantage to India. And the more that question has actually made me think, you've got spin. South African spin are going to be under pressure with the likes of Sky, who's got a good reach, sweeps well, and also can play off the back foot well. If you over pitch, he can hit down the ground. Whereas Aiden Markram, who's the king of spin in South African lineup, I don't see him playing the sweep shot as well as Sky. And I think the Indian spinners can probably control Klasan more than the South African spinners of up against Sky. That's a good point. Yeah. So the bat's going to dominate in the middle overs, in the power play overs, not in the middle overs. And I think Norkie's going to be the problem for South Africa out the back end. He's the one that's got to switch on. Right, cricket analysis. You've got a point here. Wafi here. Are we expecting? So Wafi's been on the call twice. Wafi here. Are we expecting again India crowd to be silenced this time by Aiden Markram? Just banter, mate. No hate. So Wafi is from Bangladesh, and he supports Pakistan because he's got some Indian mates. I think he's over there in Indonesia, from Bangkok, sorry. So they've got a bit of banter over there. So he's just digging in with the Aiden Markram thing. Yeah, I like what he's saying there, Wafi, and we've got two Indian supporters here. Yeah, Aiden Markram's going to dig it into the Indians. Yes, he is. Good point there. All right, Santwat, what have you got for us now?
What are your thoughts on Michael Vaughan? He's saying ICC is favoring India. I just want to know what you think.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think if you look at the biggest viewership of the game, it goes back to India. So why would you upset that market? When I say upset that market, you try and put the Indian games on primetime TV in India. So that's just the nature of the beast. You can't be blaming the ICC for it. Other teams have just got to lump it, and other teams have just got to work around that particular fixturing. If I was in charge of the ICC event, I'd be doing the same thing, and I'd be trying to put other major games on time slots that go back to those markets. So for Australia, I'd be trying to get games that are 8:30 in the morning here in Perth, probably 10:30 where you are in Adelaide. So I'll be trying to get them through the day so that you've got a better chance of meeting that target audience of that particular crowd. So for me, I just reckon it's a ridiculous comment. I love Vorney's commentary. I love Vorney, but I just think that's taking it way too far. Because at the end of the day, it's about getting viewership, and that's the way. Do you guys think it's an advantage to India with the fixturing?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a big thing, because even England winning the toss, all this advantage India anyways, because they're both playing on the same track.
Yeah. Oh, exactly right. I think it's more the scheduling and so forth. But if you look at the scheduling, they had to fly to Guyana and then fly a bit further to get back to Barbados to play this final. South Africa had the better run to prepare for the final. So for me, there's no advantage to India here. The only advantage has been created because South Africa were held up at the airport for a long period of time in the venue that they were in last time to get to Barbados. So that's the only advantage, and that's got nothing to do with the ICC. That's just got everything to do with airports and flights not being on time. So, yeah. Stop complaining and just concentrate on your own backyard. Don't worry about the little things. Simple as that. And that's what life's all about, isn't it? Life's going to come up with challenges. It's a bit like when Australia go to India and you set up the conditions that are conducive to favour India. We've got to go over there and try and take up the challenge and find a way to have victory. And it's the same when India or any team comes to Australia. We have the advantage here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people whinge. Mind you, every now and then I'll chop up with something that is probably a bit out of line as well. Gurpreet, have you got your next question?
Yeah. I am asking who is gonna be the key players who will perform better in the high pressure game? What are the views?
For me, I think the key players are the two left arm leg spinners, especially Kuldeep, because he's the second best bowler, I think, out of the Indian lineup. He can control those middle overs, and if he can control those middle overs, all of a sudden Rohit Sharma can use Bumrah a little bit more strategically. And use him in a different phase of the game. He doesn't have to go to him to use an extra over in those middle overs. Shamsi is crucial for South Africa because he's going to be bowling in those middle overs. And up against someone like Sky, Pant or Dubey, and he doesn't get as much turn on his leg spin as Kuldeep Yadav, he's going to be targeted. So it's up to Shamsi to be able to stand up and handle the pressure in those middle overs. I think that's the area of concern for me for both teams. When it comes to the batting, I think Sky, that's Surya Kumar Yadav for people who don't understand his nickname Sky. I think everyone who follows knows it's Sky. And Klasan are probably the two batters that are going to be crucial because they're the two that are best against spin in this particular game, and it's going to be spin to win. So, would you agree with me on that, Gurpreet?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't have to agree with me. If you've got someone else, that will be fine. What about you, Satwan?
Yeah. I think you heard the point.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yep, beautiful. Now I'm trying to see. Here we've got Gunter Singh down the bottom here. Will Virat Kohli finally score big considering batting pitch in Barbados? Oh, I'd like to go back to Wifey as well here and just dig it into the Indian fans out there. Should we drop Virat Kohli for Sanju Samson? I said it in the semi-final. No, you can't. I think Virat Kohli, I'm only having banter out there, everyone that's watching. I'm only having a bit of banter. Virat Kohli, I think, hopefully he scores a 50 at least today. I love the way he goes about it. He's such a wonderful guy, and yeah, he's very challenging out in the middle when you're playing against him. But off the field, he's one of the gentlest guys that's going around, and I just love the way. He's been a great ambassador for the game. So hopefully he can really finish off this T20 World Cup with a bang. And hopefully everyone who goes out there performs to their best of ability, because we want a close game, an entertaining game, and everyone to perform well. Now, Santwan, have you got another question, please, before we get to Kuldeep Singh?
Yeah. So do you think toss will play a big factor in the final, or?
Oh, toss always plays a big factor. I think if I'm playing in a final, I'd like to bat first. But you would have to sit and look out the conditions around the ground or outside. Is there a chance of dew being a factor? If there's a chance of dew being a factor, well, then you'll probably look to bowl first to let your spin take control. Someone's not falling asleep there. It's just the screen locked. But you want to bat. You want to bat first in a game, in a final. So the toss does play a big factor. But sometimes it's best to lose the toss and take the decision out of your hands. But I always like I always like batting first in a final. I actually always like batting first anyway. I like bowling second, because you're a whole team. You're a whole team in a final, and if you can win it while you're defending a score, everyone's got that same emotion out that same time on that final delivery that's been bowled, or that final moment of the game. Whereas when it's two batters, the rest of you are in the sheds. It's the two out the middle. You sort of got a bit of a different energy about it. Same excitement, but just a different energy. If you understand what I mean. When it's full 11 out in the field, everyone feels a part of it. So yeah, that's a good question. That Gurpreet.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, in any case, if collapse happen for any team, who would be the better team which can be bounced back more probably?
Oh, definitely India. I think India, if they have a bit of a batting collapse, they've got too much depth in their batting. And they've also got a little bit of variety there. So if they have 2 or 3 early wickets that fall, all of a sudden they've got Dubey who can come in and power in those middle overs, but you've still got Hardik Pandya, Axar Patel and Jadeja out the back end. Whereas if South Africa lose early wickets in the power play, they've only got 2 batters, frontline batters, out the crease that can control the situation for the rest of the 20 overs. So what I'm saying there, if you lose 4 wickets in the power play, India have got more depth than what South Africa have. So for me, that's a huge advantage to India going in this game. But at the end of the day, as I said at the start, I don't like teams relying on their batting depth. I think you've got to back your top 6. If your top 6 don't make the runs in a T20 game, generally you're out of competition, out of the game. Now, there's Kuldeep Singh. Rohit will again fire in final. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. He be the main man. Yeah, he needs to set up the tone at the front. If India want to win this final, big player, like what he did against Australia and England. Yeah, big players, play on big stage, I think.
Yep. Now, is Kuldeep Singh related to you, Santwan Singh?
No.
There's a lot of Singhs around, isn't there? There's a lot of Singh. With that, for people, is Singh a common name?
In Punjab, most of us have Singh is a like last name.
Yep. And so how do you know the different? I was going to say tribes there, but the different families.
Like
How would you?
Singh is actually a middle name. We all have last name, but we use Singh as a middle name. I have last name Boparai, and Gurpreet have a Badach. Like we all have different last names, but in Australia we have full names.
Yeah.
Like Satwant Singh Boparai, but in India we only use two names, Satwant Singh. We don't usually use the last name as often. Like in Australia we use the full name. Yeah.
Oh, right. Gurpreet Singh.
Singh is Singh actually his middle name.
Yep. So how do we warrior?
It belongs to community,
Right.
actually Sikh community. Singh belongs to a Sikh community.
Yeah.
Like it's a religion.
No, that's yeah. That's the Bishan Bedi.
Yeah.
He had Singh in his name, didn't he? Bishan
Bedi. Navjot Singh Sidhu.
Yep. Yeah. No, old Bishan Bedi. I'll share this again. I shared it a couple of videos ago. Bishan Bedi came over and back in the 70s, and my dad was playing for the WA Country 11. So that's West Australian Country 11, and their touring teams would come and play. Their first game would be it would be a warm-up game against WA Country 11. So all country cricketers, they'd select an 11, play against the international team. So Dad got to face Bishan Bedi. I get to have a photo with Bishan Bedi afterwards. He's holding me there and he's wearing the turban. And being a 5-year-old, said, don't know what your mum thought about that hat. That's not going to help you here in Australia with the sun here. Something like that. I've worked out. I worked out religion very quickly. Very quickly there. Now, Himana Suja, South Africa is performing better in all departments, while India is lagging in the batting. Your views? Ooh, I'm looking at the averages, and South Africa don't have the better averages than what India do. But IPL form will play a part here as well. I like what you're thinking there. I think I like the South African batting lineup. I really like the South African batting lineup. I'm probably favouring their batting lineup more than the Indian batting lineup at the moment. Him and Shuja. That's a very good question. Now, who asked the last question? Was it you, Satwan, or Gurpreet?
Gurpreet did. So it's my turn now.
Rightio. Look at him getting on the front foot. Typical opening batsman.
Yeah. So what do you think after this World Cup, like Australia, England, all these big sides making changes to the squad, like bringing the young players in, or you reckon they're gonna go same with experience, like even India, regardless they win or no? What your thoughts are?
Yeah, look, my thoughts would be someone like Rohit and Virat Kohli out the top of the order with India. Are they going to continue with T20 cricket? Because I think when I say that at international level, I think Virat might want to try and concentrate on Test cricket. He's still got a lot more to achieve in that arena. So I think he'll give himself a little bit more of a break on the calendar. Because he's been taking a few rests, should I say, over the last couple of tournaments. Australia, I think they'll make a few changes. Matty Short from the Strikers, who you've got your hat on there. Fraser McGurk, I think those two will come in. I think we'll see a little bit of a change in the bowling department as well. I think we might see Nathan Ellis play a lot more in the shorter format. I think he's been underused, and I think England will make a few changes as well. We talked about earlier Ali, Bairstow. You've also got Rashid as well. All a little bit long, So I think that there'll be a few changes there as well. They'll move on, and the game's changing as well. It's more aggressive. I think Australia will also look at a few other changes as well in that middle order. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed with a couple of players with their performances both throughout the tournament. So there'll be a few changes. Yeah, definitely. You've got to move with the times. You've got to have youth. I just think the time's right for all those three teams to make a couple of changes. Yeah. So for India, out the top of the order, and for England in the middle order. So, yep. Gurpreet.
Yeah. So do you think Virat will be bounced back strongly in the final?
Ooh, I hope he does. I really hope he does. But he looks as though you're a bowler. I'm just looking at his footwork. He got caught up with a pull shot. His feet aren't moving as well as they could be. I felt he had better form in the IPL, especially at the back end of it. And I'm just thinking with the short turnaround, with a flight to the next game. So you've played a game, you fly the next day, and then you've got the game the following day. I just think the short turnarounds of these games and not having too much of a break at any stage in between, I just think his preparation is he hasn't adjusted well in that sense. It's not so much what's happening out in the middle. I just don't think he's had enough time in decent nets to get that rhythm, his batting rhythm, and I think he probably needs that more than most other players. He likes to hit a few more balls than that. So he's always been under pressure there. But I think in the big games, Barbados, Adam Gilchrist in the 2007 World Cup hardly made a run for the whole tournament. When it came to the final, he belted it 100 there. And Virat Kohli might ring up Adam Gilchrist and ask for the squash ball, put it in that bottom hand. You remember Adam Gilchrist using the squash ball in the glove in the final? Yep. Well, Virat Kohli might do something similar just to break things up. I think he'll do something exceptional in this final. Actually, VJ 30. Will there be any changes in the 11? I don't think there'll be any changes to both teams in this 11. Thanks very much for joining us, VJ 30. Hope that came out all right, actually. That could have been a little bit naughty, VJ. Santwat.
Okay, you think if you're coaching India, what would one advice you giving to Kuldeep today?
One advice I'd give to Kuldeep. I wouldn't give him any advice. I'd ask him questions. I'd let him ask me questions, then I'd follow it up with a question back to him, because I want him to have the answers. I want him to be thinking about it. That's what coaching's all about. Coaching's all about being there as a sounding board and getting the player to find the answers himself. If he can find the answers himself, then all of a sudden he's going to be better prepared out in the middle. So for me, I'll just be asking, what are you going to do in this situation? If Klasan plays you off the back foot and hits you for a couple of sixes straight down the ground, what are you going to do to counteract that? And then make him think about it, come up with the answers. So that's how I'd go about it with Kuldeep Yadav. The thing is, when you're giving advice to other people, I was a different bowler than what Kuldeep was. Kuldeep's more round arm. I was a lot higher. I had more bounce than what Kuldeep has. He turns the ball more.
And he turns the ball more.
Yep. So we're completely different bowlers, but we've sort of got the same mindset. So for me, coaching's about making sure that they're in the right mindset, they're confident with their plans, and when they answer you, you make sure that they're answering it confidently. If they don't answer it confidently, then I'd probably follow up another question. So if he answers, I might bowl a little bit fuller, and if there's a little bit of uncertainty there, I'd go, well, what are you looking for when you're bowling fuller? and you go, well, I'm looking for him to come forward. I know that he's not going to sweep, or I'm not expecting him to sweep. And I know that if I get a little bit more turn, then all of a sudden the missed time shot comes in. Little simple things like that to get him to be confident about that particular decision he's going to make, and make him say that final answer with authority. Because if he says it with authority, that means he's got confidence. So that's how I'd go about it. If you asked me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I probably would have given him advice. I would have just said, "I'll go out there and back yourself. Just back yourself, mate. You've got the skills. Just do that." There's no point in saying that, because the kid's nervous. We're all nervous before we go into a final or go into an exam or go to that new job. We're all nervous. So what you want to be doing is asking questions, and good solid questions to help get the answers to make them feel confident before they go in there. Yeah, that's a really good question. Really good question. Gurpreet, someone, was that all right, the answer for you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So it's a bit like your young fella with the leg spin. You can sit there and Kuldeep does this, or Shamsi does this, do this. Let them watch them. Let them watch the player, and then when you're down the nets, it's a bit like, what are you trying to do here? What was the result there? What could you do differently? How do you want it to come out? Right. How does that look when it comes out? Can you feel it coming out like that? What do you feel? What do you see? Okay, and get them to mimic it, and then get them to do it. Because if the more you tell, the less it sinks in. That's. So, Gurpreet, sorry about that. We left you on charge, mate.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Hello. What do you say?
Yep. Can you? No, we left you on charge there. I'm just looking at the power cord in the back. Yeah.
So can I ask a question? Who do you think looks like a better balanced team before the final?
For me, I think I look at the South African team. I like their balance, the South African team, because they've got 5 frontline bowlers and 6 frontline batters. I like that in a T20 team, because you've only got 20 overs, and if 6 batters can't do the job and you rely on that 7th batter, you're in trouble anyway. So, yeah, that's why I say South Africa are a better balanced team. But in saying that, do South Africa have the better quality in those departments? So that's the question that you've got to. That's probably the question that I'd look at. Kuldeep Yadav outbowls Shamsi. Boomerang outbowls Rabada. But then I think Johnson, Norkie outbowl Hardik Pandya and Arshdeep Singh. And sorry about that, because Arshdeep's one of your boys. I think Johnson's just got the extra height. That's where he's got the advantage. So and pace. And pace. But they both swing the ball, but just that height advantage. And when it comes to the off spin, I think Maharaj and Patel are very similar. So in the bowling departments, I think it's fairly even. But when it comes to the batting department, I think Sky and Klasan, I think Sky is a better batsman than Klasan. And with South Africa, I think it all comes to who gets out of the blocks better earlier, Rohit Sharma or de Kock. Other than that, the batting lineups are fairly even. I think Miller's just about on par with anyone that bats in that number 6 position. Pant probably outplays Markram. in a certain aspect. But Virat Kohli, with the way he's batting at the moment, Hendricks and Virat Kohli are very similar at the present moment, going into the final, though Virat Kohli's got more experience. So did I go through that all right?
It's going to be a good final, I think. We want to see a good final.
Yeah. Now, have you boys got any more questions?
I have one for you.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You start as a batsman, then move to be bowler, or?
Yes, I did. I actually, it's quite funny. I come from the country here, so you understand the country here in Australia. The towns are a little bit smaller than the country towns in India. Where I grew up, there was 700 people in my town. Probably the same size town in India would probably have about 30,000 people in it.
Like a village in India.
Yeah. So I came up to Perth. I went to Fremantle Cricket Club, playing in their under-16s as a swing bowler that batted in the lower order.
Oh.
And then I ended up opening the batting, and I didn't grow, didn't get any extra pace, so bowling went out the window. And I got picked for WA, West Australia, my first Shield game. And I got asked to bowl some leg spin in the nets. Never bowled it before. And at the age of 23, I bowled my first leg spinner. And 2 years later, I'm over in Delhi bowling it for Australia.
Oh.
So, yeah, that's how it happened. So, yeah, I'm still shocked. But, yeah, I'm glad I took up leg spin because I don't know how long I would have lasted as a frontline batter. I think my batting was sort of how can I put it? Might have just made a reasonable career out of Shield cricket, out of first-class cricket.
Well, you did score some handy runs in international cricket.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And the funny thing is, I'll share this with you. Is you ask the question out the front end. The extra pressure in finals and so forth. So when I was going through the career, I always prided myself on the batting, but there were so many things going through my mind before I went out to bat. If I had time to think about it, and all of a sudden, when you're out there, you're not moving your feet as well as you could. Now, I remember playing in a T20 World Cup in Sri Lanka, and I'm facing Ravi Rampal, the quick bowler from West Indies. And I'm facing him, and he bowls me a bouncer, and I'm on my back on the ground. I said, "Oh, I don't bowl there, mate. That's my strength." Now I'm batting at 11, and I'm not having any time in the nets facing bowling in the nets because I'm batting at 11. And if I'm needed, we're in a bit of trouble. But the funny thing is, I picked up that ball a lot easier than I was when I was playing 5 years earlier. For the simple fact is, I didn't have that pressure on me.
Pressure, yep.
Yeah, because I was just so relaxed. So the next ball he bowled me a bouncer, and I've pulled it out mid-wicket, and there's a fielder out there, and he looks as though he's going to cut it off for a boundary. And I've run up, and I'm turned for two. And I said, "Mate, told you not to bowl there." And he's looked at me with confusion, and Gurpreet, being a fast bowler himself, doesn't like it when batsmen have a crack at him. He's looked at me with confusion because the pull shot, the ball's only reached the 30-yard circle, hasn't gone to the boundary out there because it's hit me high up on the bat. It was too quick for me. But I still saw the ball a lot clearer than what it was 5 years ago because I was relaxed.
You had clear mind, yeah?
So funny.
You have no pressure.
Yeah, clear mind. Yeah. And I wish when I was a bit sharper and younger, I had that clear mind. It's a good one. I only bring that up because people out there that play cricket that might be listening and might want to pursue a first-class career or something like that, is it's all in the mind. If you've got the skills, it's all in the mind. Just before I go to you, Gurpreet, I'm just going to go Arjun. Is Rabada versus Rowett a game set and done? Rowett gets through power play. He could handle Shamsi and Norkie well. Oh, Arjun. I like what you're thinking there, but I was watching Norkie bowl the other day, and he's bowling. Got my little mouse here, so just see that seam there, that little seam there. He was holding the ball a bit like that, not trying to swing it, but just to try and hold the seam to bowl that 3/4 seam that we're all seeing Anderson bowl and that in Test cricket, and he was getting the ball to cut. So Norkie's going to give Rowett a little bit of trouble tonight as well, but I think Rowett will be able to handle Shamsi. Rabada Rowett will be a big thing tonight. Now, Gurpreet, have you got one final question?
Yeah. I would like to ask, what can South Africa do to put pressure on the Indian team?
What can South Africa do?
Yeah, to put
Take
pressure
wickets
on the Indian
and
team.
score runs.
Score runs, take wickets. All right, you're a bowler who bowled, who saved the game, defending one run in the sixth over. What was going through your mind before I answer that question? What was going through your mind when you were bowling that over? Why did you succeed there?
Actually, that was the time. The length was very important at that time. So I stick on the length ball. Like there was mat. Like ball was skidding at the mat. So I pick the right area. I bowled at the right area, like little bit variation. When you have prepared well, then you have the confidence, what you have prepared for. So, in the international level, in the final, players are prepared very well. They do the work.
And you have right man behind the stumps like me. I was keeping, so he had the confidence.
He was a super keeper. Like once, I remember once time, like we were playing opposite team. So I played a shot,
Late cut.
I was surely like it was a boundary, and when he caught my catch, I was very strange because bowler were very pacey, left arm pacey bowler. He has the good idea, and
I was not going to give you 4 runs.
like I have never seen that kind of catch in my during my.
It was good old days.
Yeah, good old days.
Like Akshar Patel that day picked a great catch against Australia. I thought that was the key. That was the key factor at that match.
Oh, that was
do you think
crucial.
That was the key factor?
Yeah, that was a crucial that was a crucial catch. But I just don't think we were switched on and we were ready for from ball one. Mitchell Starc, wonderful bowler. But I just think the weakness that Mitchell has is sometimes he doesn't adjust the length early enough in those power play overs when the batsman's on top of him. He still looks to go full and swing. I just think that's one aspect of his game, that over against Rohit Sharma, that one aspect of his game where he could have changed there. So, but other than that, I think and Mitchell Marsh's drop catch of Hardik Pandya, that cost 22 runs, I think, off the next 10 balls that Hardik faced. And that was probably a turning point. So you've taken one great catch and you've dropped another catch. I think you just can't leave it to one particular incident. There's a number of incidences that cost Australia. So, but that was a great catch. Now, I'm going to go back to your question there, South Africa. What do they have to do? Simply just keep focused, stay in the game, and probably take a leaf out of the final against India in Ahmedabad, wasn't it? Where you got off to a great start, as India got off to a great start. Just the calmness of Australia in that initial stage. I was watching from home, and I'm just thinking Australia are going to win this, and it looked as though India were going to take the game away. Australia were just so calm and they were so focused. I think that's all South Africa have to do is just take it one ball at a time. And I know that's an old cliche. Don't get ahead of yourself if you're in front. Always go back to your mark as a bowler and think, right, this is a new ball. This ball is 0 out the moment. This is a crucial ball. Every ball is crucial. So you try and keep your mind in the moment. Don't think too far ahead and don't think of anything in the past. Just think about what you have to do right now. And I heard an interview with Axar Patel bowling to Sky. He's going to take you on. You know that he's going to take you on. So you've just got to have a clear mind and think, right, what shot do I want Sky to play? Or what shot do I think Sky's going to play? Rightio. He's in this rhythm. I'm going to bowl a wide one and back that wide one. Because if you go in there and back that ball that you're bowling, or if you're batting, you back the shot that you're playing, 9 times out of 10, you're going to bowl the best delivery that you can, or you're going to play the best shot you can. When you're bowling, it's out of your control what the batsman does. You can only bowl the ball that you can bowl. When you're batting, you can only react to the ball that you bowl, that's been bowled. As long as you've got a clear mind, play your game, play your stroke, you've got nothing to lose. Don't do anything that's not in your game. That's the advice that I could give South Africa. Just back your game and play the South African style. Play the South African style. Back yourself right to the end, and have fun with it. Yeah, have fun. Yeah. Right. Any more questions? Oh, hang on. Abhishek 999. Abhishek 999. Here you are. Do you see new teams coming up in the next World Cup? Also, your thoughts on Joe Burns representing Italy. Now, Abhishek, I think Joe Burns representing Italy is a fantastic thing, spreading the game, passing on his experience. Newcomers to the next World Cup. I don't know whether there'll be any newcomers to the next World Cup, but we'll look out for a team, Qatar, in about 3-4 years' time. So, and Germany, 3 or 4 years' time. Look out for those two teams. There's a bit of talk around with those. Now, have you two got any other questions, or are we going to leave now after an hour and 2?
So, who would you back in up? Who would you think is going to win the final? Which is your favorite team?
I think India have got the better team, but I just think South Africa, for some reason, I think this is going to be their year. I really think South Africa are finally going to have a trophy, but it's going to be a real nail-biting contest. Real nail-biting contest. Yeah.
We want to see a good final. We deserve to see a good final.
Yeah. I'm only going with my heart out this moment, in a sense that what my gut feel is when you ask me, I just feel South Africa. I just feel South Africa are going to win tonight.
So it's going to be late game in Australia. Are you still going to watch it, or what you plan?
I'll try and stay up and watch it, or I'll get up early in the morning and watch the replay. If I get up early and watch it in the morning, I won't look at a scorecard before I watch it.
You just want to see the game first.
Yeah. I'll watch the game. Yeah. It's it's one of those crucial things. That's one thing, because I've sort of got a few things on here in Australia where I've got to make sure I don't wear myself out by staying up too late. I've got to be fairly sharp the next morning to do something. So, yeah. Who do you think? You both obviously will think India will win?
Yeah. Oh, we want to see a good final. I hope India win, but they both they're both good sides. So any team can win in T20. I think game can change anytime, but I want India to win.
Yeah,
but hopefully
definitely. Final. I think the other thing for me with South Africa is, you know, they've come back where they weren't playing cricket for a long period of time, and they were very competitive from day one. And with the other things that they've got going on with the political aspect of their game, I just think it's a great story. And I think the way they go about it is making a huge impact of the sport in South Africa, in a such sense that it's spreading the game, and it's important that the game is spread. But it's important also that they have success as well. I think if South Africa do take home a World Cup trophy, I think it's going to be massive for the game of sport in South Africa and massive for the development of the game and for the future longevity of the game, because we need South Africa to be up there as a powerhouse, because really it's India, Australia, England, and South Africa out at the moment. Pakistan are playing well below par at the moment. They should be doing a lot better. Sri Lanka need to lift. Bangladesh need to lift. West Indies need to lift as well. So we can't afford to have South Africa drop off as well. So
it's like Afghanistan, you know, they do all right. They go home happy.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so there's sort of an emotional attachment to South Africa as well in this aspect. If India lose, it's not going to have the biggest impact as such. There'll be an emotional impact there, obviously. But if South Africa win, there is just such a huge opportunity of a roll-on effect there. And my decision is because I think it's their time, but it's also about the future of the game as well. In a sense, it's not because I want India to lose. Nothing of that. It's more about the future of the game. Why I want South Africa to win.
Yeah.
Now, guys, thanks so much for joining me. Now, someone, you've got to get one of those. Gurpreet, you go for this mob, don't you? Gurpreet.
Thank you, sir.
Strikers, buddy.
Who do you go for, Gurpreet, in the BBL?
Who'd you go for? Sir? Big Bash. Who'd you go in Big Bash?
I scored Adelaide.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Rightio, we're going to leave it out there. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on HOGGOUT. These two go for Adelaide Strikers. You've got to go for the Perth Scorchers when you're doing the BBL. Hopefully, it's a close game tonight. Both teams put on a show, India versus South Africa. It's going to be a cracker at the wonderful island of Barbados. All right, look after yourselves. HOGGOUT.